I am Leroy Truth for Leroy Truth Investigations with an important update on the charges against the golfer Scottie Scheffler, who was arrested on false charges by a lying sack of cop. This is the worst type of cop. And what I said many times, what is the worst enemy of a good cop is a bad cop. And you're going to see in this prosecutor right here, piece of garbage. He drops the charges as he should, as he needs to, because there is no evidence whatsoever on the lies the police officer made up against Scottie Scheffler. 4 charges, major charges, were put against Scottie Scheffler. And you're going to hear in this video how even though they dropped the charges, this prosecutor has to justify, well, a police officer died previously, so that's why the officer lied and could have put this guy in jail for years. And by the way, the only reason these charges were dropped, ladies and gentlemen, is because Scottie Scheffler was famous and video came out showing that the cop lied. Now, the cop didn't have his video recorder cam on, body cam running, but someone fortunately happened to catch it from a distance, and it was enough to show the cop was blatantly lying. So let's watch this video together here.
I am Leroy Truth for Leroy Truth Investigations, because the truth matters. I am Leroy Truth.
All right, we have a few more moments. Do you all want to wait till 1 o'clock, or do you all want to go ahead and get started? It's up to you all.
We're ready, Your Honor.
Ready?
I'm ready, Your Honor.
All right, so hello everyone. My name is Judge Ann Delahanty. Welcome to Jefferson District Court in Louisville, Kentucky. We are here today on the Scottie Scheffler case. So I hear there are some motions that we need to hear. Is that correct?
That's correct, Judge.
Go ahead, Mr. O'Connell.
Thank you, Judge Delahanty.
I already don't like the guy. Well, I already watched the video, so I know what he's going to say. But he is, instead of just doing the right thing, prosecutors should not be trying to get charges at all costs. And the person being found guilty on them. They should always be looking, is the person guilty or innocent? If they're innocent, drop the charges. Now, again, he's only dropping these charges because Scottie's famous and the snippet video came out. But he's going to attempt to justify why the officer did what he did. Watch this.
And may it please the court and Mr. Romines. Your Honor, today I will be tendering to the court a motion to dismiss all the charges against Mr. Scott Scheffler.
Bingo. Stop it. That's all you have to say. Shut up. Everything you say here is trying to protect a lying piece of garbage police officer who hurts good police officers. And it hurts you and your reputation as well. When an officer does the right thing, they need to be acknowledged for it. When they do the wrong thing, they need to not only be acknowledged and held accountable by being fired, in this case, he should be fired, but also held criminally liable. And every charge that he gave to Scottie Scheffler, he personally should have to bear and bear the full consequences of the law, including fines and prison. Simple. But watch, this guy goes on for 5-6 minutes more, this prosecutor.
And may it please the court and Mr. Romines. Your Honor, today I will be tendering to the court a motion to dismiss all the charges against Mr. Scott Scheffler. But if it pleases the court, I would like to offer a brief explanation on the record, please.
Of course.
Okay. Your Honor, I'm here today representing the Commonwealth because I recognize the importance of this case to our community. While I've worked closely with my great team, I want to make clear that the decisions throughout this process were ultimately mine. The events that led us here today began with a tragedy. And as most people know, of course, just after 5 a.m. on May 17th in a steady rainstorm, Mr. John Mills was struck and killed by a shuttle bus out at the location where these matters took place. I have a copy of Mr. Mills' obituary and a very good photo of him that matches what is said in the obituary from his family and others that pay tribute to him. Mr. Mills leaves behind a wife, 4 children, a team of grandchildren, and my hope is that there will be more attention soon paid to Mr. Mills and his well-lived life. Mr. Mills' family has designated the Bluegrass Center for Autism for anyone wanting to make a donation in his memory. The death of John Mills is not a part of this case before you, as you know, Your Honor, but this terrible incident set in motion a confusing and chaotic scene at Gate 1 of the Valhalla Golf Course. Because of this tragedy, Detective Brian Gillis, along with other members of LMPD, were rerouted from their assigned duties to secure an active investigation scene. A significant amount of traffic had already built up when Detective Gillis arrived and began coordinating the authorized flow of traffic into Gate 1. Mr. Scheffler was not informed of the fatality and was driving to the course prior to the playing in the second round of the PGA Championship. Prior to Mr. Scheffler's arrival, several authorized PGA vehicles were properly allowed to enter Valhalla through Gate 1. A bus, clearly seen on the videos, was attempting to turn around or turn into the same entrance, and the LMPD correctly stopped that bus and instructed it to turn around. Detective Gillis stopped vehicles entering Valhalla while the bus attempted to complete this maneuver. Mr. Scheffler's was one among the first vehicles to reach the point at which Detective Gillis was stopping cars. The interaction that followed between Detective Gillis and Mr. Scheffler resulted in LMPD filing 4 charges. My team and I began reviewing evidence as it came to us following the events of May 17th. We continued to receive and to review evidence throughout that weekend and late into the following week. We completed our final interviews with police and lay witnesses after the close of business on Friday, May 24th. We continued to work through the long Memorial Day weekend and have brought this matter before the court at the earliest opportunity following our complete review. My office conducted our work in a thorough and expeditious manner. As a backdrop to what the work that our office does, what every prosecutor's office has to do when reviewing matters, are the Kentucky Rules of Professional Conduct, which obviously are the rules of, quote, ethics the Supreme Court has adopted with respect to guidelines, et cetera, and prohibitions on things for lawyers as they practice. Section 3.8 in those rules is actually styled special responsibilities of a prosecutor. And court may be familiar with that from another time. But it says in there, in the commentary, the very first sentence, a prosecutor has the responsibility of a minister of justice and not simply that of an advocate. It further goes on to explain that the very first responsibility of a prosecutor under Rule 3.8 of the Kentucky Supreme Court rules requires that prosecutors, and I quote, refrain from prosecuting a charge that the prosecutor knows is not supported by probable cause. Therefore, based upon the totality of the evidence, my office cannot move forward in the prosecution of the charges filed against Mr. Scheffler. Mr. Scheffler's characterization that this was, quote, a big misunderstanding, close quote, is corroborated by the evidence. The evidence we reviewed supports the conclusion that Detective Gillis was concerned for public safety at the scene when he initiated contact with Mr. Scheffler. However, Mr. Scheffler's actions and the evidence surrounding their exchange during this misunderstanding do not satisfy the elements of any criminal offenses. For these reasons, Judge, I now tender to the court a motion in order to dismiss all these charges in this case against Mr. Scheffler with prejudice. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Conley. Mr. Romines?
Judge, it's taken me a long time to understand that when I'm winning, don't talk. So I have nothing to say, Your Honor. We accepted. We have no objection to the county's motion.
Fantastic. So ordered. So at this date, I will dismiss the matter, and it will be ripe for expungement within 60 days.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you very much.
May I be excused, Your Honor?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
May I be excused like he's accused?
Yes. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Your Honor.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. If that was you or me, we'd be going to jail. Here's what Scottie should have done. Always record the police. Oh, but they have body cams, you say. You know how hard it is to get body cam footage from most police departments, which is upside down and backwards. It's not their footage, it's our footage. Scottie Scheffler, the moment police officer made contact with him, boom, bring out his camera in horizontal. Do not, please, everyone, do not record like this. You miss all this on either side of the scene. You can miss important things that the police do to you or to someone else. Always record like this in landscape. And always record the police. And if they do the right thing, you've got that. And if any of you have a police officer doing the right thing and stopping a bad police officer from lying, making false charges, send it to me. I will publish the heck out of that. Always record the police. I'm Leroy Truth, for Leroy Truth Investigations. This whole situation disgusts me. They were shamed and forced to drop the charges against Scottie Scheffler. Not because they were lies and would have done the right thing regardless of the public exposure, but because of the public exposure, exposed the lies. Yet still the prosecutor attempted to justify the criminal actions of the police officer. I'm Leroy Truth. Please subscribe. I appreciate you.
I am Leroy Truth.